So what I'm showing is like in this particular website, or like there are multiple websites like this. If you go for the cheat sheet, they will show the cheat sheet of all the patterns. So there are like different kinds of patterns. So apart from the anchors and escaped characters, we also have like grouped and look groups and like look ahead, qualifiers and others. So except this group and like look aheads and others, we have covered almost all patterns. So even this kind of repetitions, these two things are there. But coming to your regular expression references, you can see so some kind of substitutions, flags and others. Or if you see community patterns, so that's where you would see, let's say email validation. Just now I showed something to you. So, okay, continue means like this is what they are saying as a perfect example for email ID pattern. Means don't take like someone's example as yours example because everyone has a unique case. So they have created a pattern for matching all kind of regular expressions. If you want to understand the regular expression, here you can see the definition also. There are multiple websites like this. This is one of the good website. So where you can see, let's say if you want to get all the patterns for email IDs, sorry, IP addresses, you can go for IP address matching. Or like if you want to match password validation, you can have your, so they say like, when you're creating password, if it is not having minimum characters and all these things, they will reject, right? So it can be done in a very simple way. So like a Brazilian phone number. So in Brazil, how the phone number is. So, or like, different things. So date is in a particular format or not. You are checking that. So like this, you can validate, say, you can say the Bitcoin address, whether Bitcoin address will be is perfectly or not. So like that, different patterns you can go through and you can use that. This is what different examples. Next, going further with respect to this, we have another thing called as log analysis or anything. So if you can have a file and we can analyze the files. So instead of going further, I think like we don't have a log files which are committed right now. If you see the log files, am I having the log files having here? Yes, I'm having log files. So then I can analyze these log files. We can have like different kinds of log files, right? We can check and whether the presence of a particular log file is present or not. Okay, so there are like different kinds of logs are there here in this file. We want to analyze this file and get to this. So that's my ultimate objective. Now, how do you read this file? This file is somewhere in this particular folder and you want to work. Copy path. So you were in this file. So first, if you want to work on any file which is the other side, first we should know what is the current working directory. os.get current working directory. See, this is a real example I'm showing you. So how people work in real time. So what is the process of doing it? So if I say like CLS and Python here and Python, say KE. If you observe here, it is saying that this is your directory, but like, so unfortunately we need to go to this directory. Then what is the way? So can I ask like, so instead of print, os.chdar of, can I go one level above? If I go for one level above, then what will happen? Same KE will become what? It is going in this directory, right? So now in this, we need to go to the 12th directory. So can I go like this now? So if you see, if I ask, under that it is getting say login. In that you want to go for built-in logins and others. See how smart I am playing. So if I give like one more slash and give, will it work? Perfectly. So, but if the same slash, if I'm giving like a Windows slashes, the slash in the other side, then I need to ensure that I need to have an R. As I gave like a Linux slashes, I need not worry about it. So this is what the log files path. So this is how in reality what they do. They will assign this to a log so files path, some kind of like a so variable. So they will configure and use that. Now, did you see that smartly you are getting these things? you got what is current working directory. At the same time, os dot, so list dir. So you want to get the list of files in the directory. I will do a clear and Python. So key. Now, did you see that you got the list of all the files? Fine. So now you want to go for a particular file. So traditional way means what? Traditional, if you want to go through this particular file. So what you do with open of the particular file we want to go. Say like we targeted on going this to file. So you want to get the file name. So 07 logging. 07 logging dot log. So you want to do a read mode. So fine. So it's a binary file encoded? No. So you need not write F. So file handler, we got it. And we need to get the file content. So if you want to get the file content, dot read lines. I read all the lines. And now I need to go to each line. So for each line in, so file content, I need to go and I need to print each line, right? So if I execute right now, you got it. I'm not interested in these anymore. I will just comment it. So, but like I got very good number of lines, every line, but I'm not interested in all the lines. I am interested in only critical lines. Wherever error is also there, I don't want. Wherever critical is there anything like a critical? So seems like there is no critical. So we want only the error then. So error logs are there. We want only error logs. No other things we want. So seems like there were only errors, right? So fine. So if I say like if error critical, I will check, critical in each line. If I check, if it is there, you will get it. If not, you won't get it. If you see there is nothing. So then I will go for like error. If you check, it will get only the error logs, right? Only those log lines you are getting. So fine. So you found that maybe like I will say that, hey, say error logs is like an empty string and you are trying to append these lines, dot append of error lines. So you are getting all those values and you need not close and you can print the error logs. So once you got the content, so you can just work with that, right? So, and you can do, you got all the lines. So this is what a traditional way of doing. But using regular expressions, we can make this word much more smart. So how we do is like regular expressions. You do the same thing. Open the content. But instead of reading the like a read lines, you can read like a string. File dot read. So file content is equal to like this. After doing these things, you want like a error logs, right? So instead of doing this much, so you can simply say like, hey, error logs is equal to, so re dot, we need to import re. So import re. Import should be in the starting, re dot. So you want to use find all because you want multiple occurrences, not just one. Find all. So wherever there is a error, you want all the logs, right? So in those file content, you want it. So now if you see in this case, if you go for like each of these lines, you need to print it. Say print of error logs. If you see in the second case, you get only errors. That is not your intention, right? So anything before or after within that line you want. So I give a dot star, I give a dot star. Now if you see, same like the above, you get everything. Let me make an empty print. Then you will understand. Same like above, you are getting. So you got the entire line. You got the entire line like that. So fine. Now, if you want like explicitly few things among these patterns, if you see that first one is the timestamp, right? Second one is the level. This is the application. This is the statement. So like that, everything is ordered. So if you want like that explicitly or like particular things, you can get it. So for that, we need to go for something called as the groups. So we need to tell a group and we need to get the values like that. I will tell you that shortly afterwards. But if you want from these, only the time information. Wherever things are critical, only those critical times if you want. Then, so this error log times if you want. Error log times if I want. So how do you get a time? I am not interested in the things which are after that. I am interested in the things only before it. So only before it means like, now if you observe, if I make an empty print, if you observe the third one, clear and Python KE. Oops, there is a code. Okay. Observe the last one. So you are doing a dot star followed by this dot star followed by errors. Yes, you can see that. So you are getting like a error log times. If I say like print of slash n. Yes, now you got it clear. Did you see that you got the entire line dot star followed by this dot star followed by this? But if you want like a specific things in that, you cannot go with this kind of ways. You need to understand what is kind of a regular expression groups. Only then we can group these values and we can understand further. So there is a necessity we have find. So to understand about these groups, before group, we have something called as a pattern repetitions. We will grow with that and slowly we can go with these groups. See, basically here what we understood, we couldn't find this particular time or like we couldn't get like exactly the message. So we are able to find, but exact match of a particular part of it, we couldn't get it. So for that, we need to go for few other things. Before going further, we will learn about something called as pattern repetition. Pattern repetition means after something, if a pattern is coming for more number of times, if you want to identify, we can tell that. Till now, what we understood about AB plus, AB star, all these things are there. But if you want like this, you can see here, AB followed by, see, I'm using flower brace. Every brace makes some sense. If you are using square braces till now, that is telling like a different values or a range of values. But flower braces for the first time, for these things you can see. If I'm doing like this, clear and Python, else so and so. Clear and Python. Okay, you see now what happened? You are saying that in each of this character, A should be there, followed by B 0 times. So that's why you have these many B's, but every time only A is coming, right? Similarly, if I say A, B, A followed by B 2 times, A, B, B is coming 2 times. For whatever B is having 2 times, you got it. If I say A, B, so and so, whatever is having 5 times, you got it. But what if you want like some range of values, not just 2 or 5? Say if I say 2, 5, means minimum 2 times, maximum 5 times. So from 2, 3, 4, 5, all these things you got this kind of patterns. If I go for like one good example for you to understand. So Ashiki. So Ashiki is a 7, right? If I say A followed by 1 to 2 times, means it can have one Ashiki or two Ashikis. So both will match, right? So it will work perfectly. So there were 2 Ashikis, it worked. Similarly, 1, 2 Ashikis. So I have like Ashiki. So like this. If I say like, only one. So RE dot match or such, it doesn't matter. It works for like 1 or 2 or any number of things. If I go for the same example further. So Ashiki. So like this, if you see single Ashiki, so it works. If I have these many A's also, it will try to get only maximum 2. So if I give these many A's also, so it will match to that range. And if that range is having like multiple values, so even then also it will match the first occurrences and it will stop. Similarly, if you go further, yeah. Similarly, if I go further, there is one more thing. Yeah. Mm, yes. So you have something called as a greedy pattern, right? This one you observe carefully. So I forgot to tell this one earlier. This is one of the classic example of something that you need to be aware. So this is very interesting for you to understand. For me, it took some time for you understanding initially. So because of this, what is it actually doing? So RE dot match of this particular thing. RE dot match or like RE dot search, whatever you give a patterns and you ask it. So I will do here with RE dot find all. You give a pattern and you give a string. So I'm giving ALB2CS. If I do like this, oops, I need to import RE. I need to clear the screen. Yes. Did you observe here carefully what's happening? I'm expecting two characters should be like a group. So you generally what you expect? Two characters like a group, right? So there is something called as a new brace you are seeing for the first time. What is this brace doing? How it can help us? To understand this, let me show you what is this kind of new kind of brace. So what it is doing. So till now you never seen this kind of brace, but for the first time you are seeing this brace. This brace is telling that I want like a group. So if I don't place this brace, what will happen? I want two characters. You got the entire thing. So then what is this brace you are getting? So what is it doing? Actually, I will tell. The first dot in this second case is matching the first character. The second dot onwards, it is doing like a wild card. Whereas if you are doing like this, what you are trying to say is that, hey, try to find two characters. You are trying to get the first two characters, next two characters, next two characters like that groups. So this observe the difference between this and that. So if you use the same thing with a this brace, what will happen? You're trying to check for the presence of star, sorry, dot. So there is no dot that doesn't work. If you are doing like this, it works like that. I will tell again further. If I use like this one, two characters, it is trying to make a match and get it. If I do the same thing with RE dot search of the same pattern, if I use with RE dot search, if I do by default, it will not do. If I do a dot group, so I am trying to find a two match. If I do this star, if I remove, did you see the first two? It is doing match. So next it will do for the next two, like that we do. It is like a greedy pattern. That's why it is doing like this. But if you want to make it non-greedy, you can place it like a, so instead of a star, if I place a plus, that also it will do the entire thing. If I place like a star also, it will do the entire thing. Because two matches it is doing for all of that. But if I do like a question mark, it will stop for the first occurrence. So this is all about the groups. So, but we will come back again these groups. So I think like, so you remember, so we also discussed about this, the other part called as RE dot all flag. You remember I told about this dot all flag earlier also. Say like RE dot I is ignore case flag, RE dot S or RE dot all. You can match anything till the new line. So as I told you. So if the moment you write dot all, it will match to the new lines also. It will go for multiple lines, as I told you. So apart from that, there is one more flag. So this flag is mainly into the ASCIIs. So there were like many flags like this. So here, there are like ASCII flag, Unicode flag, and locals flag. ASCII means like, so what are you see on a typical keyboard? Unicode means non-English characters. And what is locale? If you want to find only a specific language, so we call it as a locale. Okay. So if you see here in these examples, slowly you will understand. If you see first this one, right, clear. You see here what I'm doing, RE dot slash W. Slash W means what? Alphanumeric. Alphanumeric means you told like A to Z, capital A to Z, but it will match even non-English characters also. But if I do like a flag, which is re.a or re.ascii flag, either of these things we can use. If I do like that, then it will match only the ASCII characters within this one. Did you see only Fox came, but the remaining didn't come? But if you want to do this explicitly, it's up to us. If I do like explicitly, I can do it. Say if I see here in this case, I'm doing explicitly A to Z, capital Z, and so and so. But if you see here, if I give a different Hebrew characters I give, so it did nothing because there is no such thing. Similarly, if I say ignore case, even so, if I say like A to Z, if I say like this, I'm saying like ignore the case, then it is getting all the values, right? So if you have like a two flags, if you want to combine, you can do like a pipe like this. So whenever you have two flags, and similarly, here I want to show like multiple examples further. So yeah, if you want these values, I'm getting the hexadecimal values of these things. So we can also do like a encode. So encode to the Unicode escape characters, and you can get the Unicode characters. Let me show you these things. You'll understand. Generally, if I get the hexadecimal values of each characters, hexadecimal is a representation. For any character, we can get the hexadecimal also. Hope you remember ORD. I told you earlier. ORD, if you pass any character, let's say F, if I pass, it will give its ASCII code, right? For this ASCII code, we are asking hexadecimal values. You got it. Similarly, for these things, for these characters, if you are doing encode of like Unicode escape, what I'm trying to say is that when you're doing for each character, if I do dot encode of Unicode escape, it will give the Unicode characters. These Unicode characters are nothing but like the hexadecimal numbers only for each of these characters. So even for this also, if you ask, so non-English characters, Hebrew, so it will do the same thing. Or like if you explicitly want the values between a particular limit, you know, till now A to Z, right? A to Z or A to F or like that. I'm giving two Unicode characters. This can be any character, that can be any character. Within that, if anything is there, you are getting. So in fact, this is for like only alphabeticals. So that's why you got only values between that. In the same fashion, you can go further with this. So this is another example to show you. re.search of, you want /w, but you did like U, means like Unicode characters. You want Unicode characters only. If I do like dot group, did you see what you got? So Unicode characters only you got it. So you didn't get the special characters, right? So special symbols are different. So that's why you got like that. So similarly, if I go for the next one, where I am doing the same such pattern itself, if I do dot group, you got it like this. So that is about the Unicodes and others. So if I go one step ahead, after this ASCII, UTF, and Unicode, all these flags, now the coming for this search groups. So previously, I just touched briefly about the search groups. Now I will go more detail into that. To understand more about these search groups, how they work, let me go for this example. This would be very interesting for you. You will learn a lot. Clear and Python. Oh, you see here, I'm telling that I want to get A to Z plus. When I did a dot search, search means what? It will try to find the first occurrence, right? And you get it. But sir, when I'm doing, why I am getting like this is the question, right? Did you observe that you are not getting capital U because you are searching for only small letters, right? That's why capital U was gone. You got like DHAY. This is fine. But if I go explicitly telling that, hey, I want capital A to Z, small a to Z, or alpha numbers. Now you got the numbers, right? In the second case, you got clear and Python. Oh, you got it. But did you see that search is getting only one word? And if I go something more smart, as I told earlier, /W, you get again Uday. But why you are not getting the Prakash? Because there is a white space in middle. So for that, can I go and tell explicitly instead of like this, I want /W plus, till now what you got. And after that /W means what? Absence of a word. So then /W. Now if you observe, Uday space P, you got it. Now the second character, you are getting only one character because you did /W. If you want more than one, you need to do plus. Now if I do like this, now I got Uday Prakash. The same thing can also be written in another way. Instead of absence of a word, I can say presence of a slashes. It's a white space. I get it, right? So of course, so there is a different ways of blind ways of doing the things. Do you know that like we can go for a presence of /W and others? Like this also we can get, in fact. This is also a blind way of getting, but this is also one way, just to let you know. But the point is like, if you want to make it clean and good, you will go further. Now, for these things, I want to add one more pattern. So I want to add one more pattern. The pattern here is re.search of /W plus. I'm using braces again slashes /W plus. So in this case, you see what will happen. You are getting again the same thing. Then what is the point of going for this group? Now, I will tell you what is this concept of group. Basically, group means like you are getting everything that you got matched. But within the match, if you want a particular part of it, earlier we couldn't do, right? Now I will tell. So basically, there were two groups here. So the group numbers will be 1 and 2, not 0. If I say group or group of 0 will be the same answer. But if I give group of 1 or group of 2, you get like explicitly what you got. But sir, what if I give like group of, so some say 5? As there is no 5 groups, if you are asking, it's gonna throw an error. Index error, right? As we know, index error will happen if you're asking for any group beyond the ask. It will throw an error. So how many groups are there? You should ask those many. Here there were 2 groups. We should ask only 2 only. And observe, indexing starts generally with 0, but here it starts from 1. Just to make a mark that group or group of 1 will be the same. In the same fashion, like these patterns also we can do and the implementation. No matter how you have implemented the pattern, how many groups you have? 1, 2 are there. So if you say groups, observe, this is a group. Group means the total result. Groups means how many groups are there, everything you will get it. And observe, one more point I will do. Here in these things, if I for the second one also, I will add one brace. Then what will happen? I will have like 3 groups right now. I say print OA. Did you observe now I got 3 groups right now? So how many braces you are placing, those many groups you're gonna get. Hope you understood what I'm trying to say. So this is the point of groups. Now, one step ahead, I will go with these groups to understand how these groups works. To understand more on these groups, there is something else that I want to tell. Generally, if you have 2 groups or 3 groups, it's fine. But in reality, you will have a much more groups, right? So things will not be 1 or 2. Then how do you represent them? So earlier I did a plus operation. Now I'm doing like an asterisk, but still it will work. So, but in reality, when you have like multiple groups, you cannot remember like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that, right? So there should be a common way where you can better identify. So though we can do like a dot group and ask like group of 1, group of 2 like that. And if you do dot groups, you get all the values. Everything is fine. But if you want a name for each of this group, so that's where we need to go for something called as Perl compatible regular expressions. Perl compatible means it will start like this. This is like a brace. Within that question mark, then P, stating what Perl compatible regular expression. Then you are giving some label. So means like You have win pattern. So this pattern is there that you understood. For this pattern, you want to get it. Say like I took this pattern. So I am doing like this. Same groups I am doing, same groups. So or like group or whatsoever you have. But before this group, I am doing something. So we have a regular expression, and within this I write like question mark P. And within that I say maybe like I'm giving like a first name. So first name, and here I am telling that hey, last name. Say like a last name or like first and the last. I am doing something like this, first and the last. Now if you see the same thing, what is that they're saying? Hey, you did the same answer, but okay, I didn't close the brace, right? That is my basic. If I do next now, I'm doing like a dot group search of these values. So cluster. So this one, I need to get the group. So if I say like a group or like this one, if you observe the difference, you got none. So means like, I think I'm doing again the same. Yeah. Yeah, the same Uday. So Prakash I gave. So you can see here now. Plus first and the last I gave plus W. You got like Uday. Because I did a group and I'm asking the first. Means instead of giving with the numbers, I'm giving with the labels. So if I do the same pattern and if I ask with the last, because last is another pattern. So another label. After grouping, I'm asking with respect to one. But sir, what if you want to get all the groups? Here you did like a groups, right? So like that, if you want, you have something called as group dict. If you do like a group dict, you will get a dictionary of all the values. In the above thing, when you did a groups, you got a tuple of values, right? What are the groups are there? So if you do like a group dict, you will get a dictionary of these things. What are the matches that we got? So this is the difference between group and the group dict. And this is how you do like a grouping of all the values. And based upon these values, if you want to split the things, so we can also do like the splitting. So if I go ahead and go with like the splitting by the patterns, till now we are trying to identify the things based on the patterns. If I go further and ask to split based on these patterns, Python, so P so and so, clear and Python, P so and so. Did you see that I am doing with a dot, trying to do, means like wherever dot is there, it is splitting. But to be frank, is it a real dot? No. It is thinking like a regular expression character. Dot is like a regular expression character, any character, anything, right? So that's why it is doing like this. But if you want a regular expression character like us, we need to use a slash before it or place within the braces. Then it will exactly divide based on that. So find all. So how many dots are there? It is trying to find. Till now, we know what is find all. It is presence of something. Based upon that presence, if you want to split something, you give a split. Same like an ordinary string dot split, we can use these things. You remember in an ordinary string dot split, we can also have something called as max split. Makes maximum how many times you want to split it. So that we can specify, right? So in the same fashion here also, if you don't give or if you give 0, it will split how many times it is occurring. But if you say one split, maximum it will split from the left to right. So it is doing like this. So it will do like a left to right. And also like this also will do left to right. If you give like 10 times also, it will do how many times maximum it has. Now it is doing these things in this way. Now the assignment for you is like, so split. So here, try to split from the right direction. Hope you remember we have like split and R split in Python strings. So like, str dot R split, you need to do. When I did like a one split, it split the first occurrence, right? But what if I want the last occurrence to split? Instead of a split, can I go for R split? No. Within split only we should do, or we should do some pattern. So try to see what pattern you need to do get that. Similarly, so the split can be given like different kinds of patterns and parameters. It will split with that. If you observe here, it is splitting with the presence of white space. So wherever white space is there, it will divide it. So you will get a list of all words. Similarly, if I say split by comma, so you are doing here splitting by comma and also grouping. So how many splits are there? And also there are like further more complex things. Splitting. So did you see that this is called as one more pattern? These are like a look ahead and look forward and look for backward. There are three things. So splitting and excluding the delimiters. So if you see in this pattern, it is like a question mark followed by less than or equal to, right? Means instead of less than, you should think like previous. So you are splitting by comma, but like you are removing the character which is splitting. Observe carefully, you will understand. In the previous character, you are splitting by comma. If you give split, you will get like that, right? But if you want to exclude the character which is splitting in the group, if you want, so did you observe the difference? You are getting even the comma also if you place the brace like a group. Observe. But in this case, if you are in the group, you are not getting these commas. The character with which we are splitting is not coming in the output. So similarly, if you want to split the multiple occurrences, multiple decorators, so multiple delimiters, sorry, I placed all kinds of delimiters like comma, dot, all these things, and it can split by all kinds of delimiters. So like that I can specify. Similarly, like split. So we have one more thing like a substitution. So substitution means like re dot sub. So what it does is like substitution. So basically substitution means you give some values, it will substitute it. So the point is re dot compile of blue, white, and red. So I'm using the first time a new parameter called as pipe. If you want any of these three, you can do like this. So what I'm trying to do is like, I'm trying to substitute that. If you see in the example, you can understand that. So clear and Python. So Q so and so. Here Python Q so and so. Did you observe here that you are trying to match for blues? So this pattern you are trying to search either blue or white or red. So it is fine to find blue or white or red. And like this find, you are trying to do substitute. When you do a substitute, it is substituting. Did you see that? Wherever blue or white or red is coming, you are substituting with this a color. So in this entire thing, wherever that patterns are there, it is substituting with color. Did you see that? And the difference between substitute and substitute n is that it is also telling how many times it has substituted. That's the only difference. But the remaining things are same. Substitute and substitute n. You give a pattern, it will substitute. So like a replace, so like a split, it is like a replace for like a ordinary strings. So like that, we have different kinds of flags. So in in these flags, there are multiple kinds of flags like this. You can further go on to this to understand. So within these flags, you have this ILMSUX. So this is a very interesting thing. If you go further into this, this is a very interesting concept. So this is the last point here. If you see here, so A followed by 0 B's, A followed by 1 B, A followed by so means this asterisk is saying that if asterisk is placed before asterisk, whatever his character is there, so that character can present 0 or any number of times. So if I'm saying like A followed by B asterisk, means A should be present one time, followed by B 0 number of times or any number of times. So that's the reason it will do a match for all of that. So till now, whatever you're seeing, whatever the characters you are giving pattern, the same thing it is getting matched. It making no sense for you. Now slowly you are realizing. If I do this kind of pattern, it can check for like A because after A there is nothing, right? So A should be present immediately. How many times? Only one time because A was mentioned like that. For B only this kind of greedy pattern is there. So that's what you can see. Now, if you go further, you can see that uh, if for B also, if I add some kind of pattern, what will happen? Let's see. In this case, see here, what is happening? If I say A, B star, then in this case, I'm adding only B's. How many? 6 B's are there. Will it work? If I have A, B star, A should be there minimum one time, right? If I'm asking, it will throw an error because it doesn't work. Because there should be mandatorily one A because it is not there. But the same thing if I do like this, what will happen? If I say A asterisk, B asterisk, means A can occur 0 times also, B can occur 0 times also. So asterisk is like a very crazy thing. If you don't write anything and just write a star, it can match infinitely anything. So that's why we should be very careful with like a asterisk. Now if you see A star so and so. In fact, if I, as I'm telling, if I go for this pattern and if I just say no matter what, if I just say star, what will happen? Will it match? No. So for this only, there is one crazy concept. So if I do, that is called as like, I will tell you shortly, star asterisk. I'll tell you afterwards. But they added like one more thing called as AB plus. Star means what? The previous character can occur 0 or any number of times. But if you want at least one time, then you can go for AB plus. If you observe carefully here, A should be present one time as it is. B plus. So how many times B is present? 0 number of times. So in this case, you observe, it will throw an error. Means plus expects that at least one time it should be present. After one, any number of times it can present, but at least one time it should be present. Now hope you understood the difference between AB star and AB plus. Fine. Now, similarly, if I go for like these two, that's the main difference. Same like what we did above, if I try the same approach here. If you see here in this case, A is occurring 0 times here. Will it work? No, it will throw an error because A should be present, right? So same like logic. If I say A plus B plus, will it work in this case also? No, because A should be present minimum one time. So as A is not present minimum one time, it doesn't work. So like that, we need to understand about these greedy patterns. One step ahead with these greedy patterns is non-greedy patterns. It's like a Gautam Buddha. So how are making it to be non-greedy? So if you see like the same 3 patterns are there, till now I didn't use this question mark, right? So question mark comes with like non-greediness. Because question mark on its own, it's not a pattern. It will modify the existing pattern to be something. So how it works? Let's see. Till now, the greedy patterns or the non-greedy patterns, let's see. If I say like, so non-greedy patterns, how to work? Typically, if I say RA dots AB means the same thing you will get. But if I go for this non-greedy, how it works, let me show you. If I say like this, A followed by B question mark, A followed by B so and so, right? Yeah, if you see here, A followed by these binomial terms. So unlike the previous 2 patterns, if you observe here, did you observe that no matter how many times you give, if I give like a 50 also, doesn't matter, it will take only one. Did you see? That is the power of B. So 0 or 1 time, previous character can occur 0 or 1 time only. If you don't give any time, see here, B is 0 times, then also it works. B 1 time, then it works. 6 times you give, 100 times you give, it will take only maximum 1. Interesting, right? So what if I go for something like this? Say, if I go something like this, see here, A, B question mark. A is present 0 times. Will it work? No, it is a typical pattern, right? A should be mandatory. If I execute also, it's gonna throw an error. Now, if I say A, B question mark. Like that, A question mark, B question mark. Means A can occur 0 or 1 time. So it works perfectly. So B can occur 0 or 1 time. So like that, this pattern will work. Now I'm making it much more smart enough. To make it smart enough, as I told you, if I say A followed by dot question mark, this is very interesting. So dot means what? Any character. Here in this case, 0. Here it is case B. So B. So anything. So this will work with any number of any character. I am not explicitly telling, but it will take only one occurrence. If you say in this example, A dot question mark only, but here A, AR, AMM, ANK, or like some other things I give. But it doesn't matter whichever character is present. Any character only maximum one it is taking. You see how smart it is? So as you already know about the previous pattern, I'm going ahead. See here. A question mark, dot star question mark. So means A can occur 0 times also fine. But after that, any other character can occur 0 times or any number of times. It will take only maximum 1. Now we understood how the non-greediness is there. So greedy pattern and non-greedy pattern. So if I go one step ahead for these greedy patterns and non-greedy patterns, so non-greedy you understood. So how the greediness comes? So greediness means like a combinations will make it much more complex. Dot plus and a dot asterisk. Dot plus means at least one character, any character can occur at least one time. Dot star means any character, any number of times. Means 0 characters are, it can match literally everything on the world, right? So that is what we need to be careful about. If I say here, say re dot search of a dot star, and I gave a only, will it match? Yes, perfectly it will match. So because there is no problem, so it works. So re dot group you are doing, but if you print that group, you will see that. So fine, you got it. So same like this, if I give like different patterns, as I told, it's a very, like a wild card. A dot star. After A, any character, any number of times. 0 or any number of times. So unlike the question mark, it is matching how many times you got, those many times it is matching, right? So like that. That is what it is becoming greedy enough. So if I go one step ahead and give these things, if you see here, dot star, and I give like any character, any number of times, alpha, numeric, so special characters, everything. It will literally match everything, whatever you give. But did you observe here craziness? It matched everything in this line, but it didn't match all the things in this line. Did you observe that it is stopping the moment it got this slash n? That is what you need to understand. Slash n means like, generally slash n means new line, right? So the dot is very powerful. It can match any character except slash n. So the moment slash n is encountered, it will stop. So why they introduced this slash n is that they don't want it to be too greedy enough. They want to control it a bit, right? So that's why they introduced it. So this is same like, writing the same thing in a multiple lines. Say like, if you want to write a multi-line string, how do you write? So we can write with like a triple quotes, right? We can write with a triple quotes. So if you don't use the slash n word, so it doesn't matter whether you use slash n or not. You can do like this. Oh, I added one more thing. Okay. I can write like this, right? I didn't use the slash n, but will it work? No. So whether you give explicitly slash n or if you do in a new line, so it will understand the same thing. So, but sir, how do you make it to take even that also? Do you want to take that one? It's up to you. So there is something called as like, re dot all. This is another flag. So if you use the re dot all flag, you got this one also completed. So the same thing I cannot take. So you see here, And if I say re dot all, re dot d or dot all, both, sorry, re dot s, sorry, its name is re dot s. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, see here, re dot all or re dot s, both will do the same job. So re dot all or like re dot s means for every flag there were like shortcuts and like long variable also. I don't know why they didn't use d, but why they used s, but it works like this. So fine, going further. So if I want to proceed further with this re dot s and others, I can show those things also. So we have seen till now. If I say dot star, you already know about dot star and dot plus, how they are doing smartly. If you want to make them to be non-greedy, this is where it comes. So let me show these things here. So there are like in here also I can show in IPython environment. Import RE. You can see these patterns. So if I say here, what I'm trying to do is like, I am telling that, hey, give me dot star and I'm placing empty. You got like an empty invite. Okay. So, but if I give like a one character, will it work? Yes, of course. Dot question mark. Dot star means what? Any character, zero or any number of times. Dot plus means minimum one time. Dot question mark means zero or one time only. So you have zero times, you got one value. One time, you got one value. But if you give any number of times, dot star will give all the values. Dot plus will give all the values. But if I use the same thing with a dot question mark, then maximum it gives only one. That also we have seen till now. These were like a practical examples for you to understand. Say like you have a HTML tag, and if you want to match a pattern, if you observe these three, you will understand a lot. You see in these examples, you can understand. In the first one, I didn't give anything, so I got nothing, right? In the second case, I gave a open close h1 tag. If you give open close h1 tag, you get like only h1 tag, right? That's fine. If I give these two and say like, hey, I want to match two characters. It gave two characters means what? Same h1 tag, you got it. Now see with this regular expression, greedy and non-greedy patterns, how it works. If I go for these greedy patterns, first of all, in these greedy patterns, what I'm saying, hey, there should be an open brace, there should be a closure brace. Within that dot star, any character, minimum one time, any number of times you can go. You are what will actually expect to h1 only, right? But it will go not just this brace, it will check for this end brace. Did you observe that this is also closing brace? This is also closing brace. So as it is greedy enough, it will go till there. So similarly, this also, as it is greedy, it will go till there. If you see the output, it will be like this. If you want to make it non-greedy, means, hey, stop with the first match that you got. Then you should make a question mark at the end. So this is like a making a greedy pattern to be non-greedy. So dot star, so dot plus question mark. So in this case also, it found that there are two closing braces, but it tries to fit with the first occurrence itself. It's not like one character, but first occurrence itself. Hope you understood the difference. Making a greedy and non-greedy patterns, how it works. So fine. Similarly, if you go for this example, this is another interesting example for you to understand. So slash D means like it will try to find any digit, D for digit. So you gave like 150, three digits are there. If I give like 150, as it am asking only one digit, it will match the first digit, which is 1. If I say slash D asterisk means like the previous character is what? Digit. So asterisk means it expects 0 or any number of digits only. It will match all the digits. You got 150. So if you say plus also, minimum 1 it will check, it will work. If I say question mark, so if it is not there also fine. If it is there, it will match only 1. So like that it is doing. So similarly, if you go, this is like a real-time examples. you have a big string. In that, you want to identify the particular numbers. So this is how you identify. So you identify the first occurrence or so and so. If there are like different kinds of numbers, say like some measurements are there, some dollars are there. If you want to find only dollars, you can write a dollar with that and others. But that is another thing. I will come back. Basically, dollar is also regular expression operator. But if you want to mention for the dollar, then how? So that I will tell afterwards. So till now, you understood the second section of the things. Now going for the third section. So which is into the find all. Till now, you are trying to find only one. Now I will go further more fastly. So where we want to find multiple things. So you know what is dot? Any character except a slash n, right? X as new line. Slash D, just now you saw, presence of a digit. Similarly, slash capital D, which is like an absence of any digit. So similarly, slash W, presence of alphanumeric. Small a to z, capital A to z, or 0 to 9. So capital W, absence of it. Similarly, small s means presence of white space. Capital S means absence of white space. So similarly, A to Z means you know at the starting and end. Slash B means matches a boundary. So slash capital B means doesn't match a boundary. So what is this boundary and all these things we will see. If you see till now, RE dot match, RE dot find. So RE dot search and RE dot match you have known. Match means like to get the pattern at the first occurrence, right? So search is like super powerful. It can match at the starting, middle, or end, anywhere. But you can dictate it where you want with the patterns. But what does find all does? It will not fit for like one occurrence. So within a particular string, there can be multiple such patterns which are there. So if you go for like traditional examples, say RE dot match. If I go for this example, where I'm going for like RE dot match or search. So what will happen? So clear and Python. So okay. Did you see that there is Python, Python, all Pythons only? But RE.match fixed with the first Python. RE.search also fixed with the first Python. Until unless you give a particular specification that it should match at the starting, middle, or end, it will do like this. But there were like multiple Pythons, right? But it is not doing the things. But if you want to match all those Pythons, we can go for RE.findAll. FindAll will also take the pattern and your search string. And if you have like any other things also, it can take. And it will give that. So it is giving a list of all the values. But unfortunately, there is only one match because it's a case sensitive. If you are doing RE.I, now in this case, you can see that it is matching all kinds of occurrences. So that is the difference between RE merge, search, and find all. If there are multiple patterns within that particular string, it tries to get a match with all those things. Let's take like one more example. Say, if you see here, so in this example, you can notice that so RE.findAll of 2, you want to find in this target string. This is entire target string. Hi everyone. The party is on 23rd of May 2020 at XYZ place at time. So 7:30 PM, so and so. And the reception is at so and so. So how many twos are there here? There are like multiple twos, right? If I do like this, of course, RE.I make no sense because numbers, right? But there were these many twos that you identified. Did you observe? So fine. So now if I want to explicitly find not 2, but I found that, okay, I need to find for 2020. So how many 2020s are there? There were two 2020s, right? Two 2020s. So now we understood how things are working. But say, sir, not 20 or 30 or so and so, but I want to match all the digits. Now, if you observe carefully, it will try to match all the digits. And if you observe 23rd is one digit, right? But it is giving 2 separately and 3 separately. Does it make any difference, any sense? if we have two separately, 23rd should be coming together, right? But why it come? Because you are asking /d. Generally, whenever using a slash characters, it's better to write a R before it, because you want to make it as a raw representation. Else it will think the other way. So if you want to match like multiple characters, so then see what I'll do. What does this doing? I'm doing /d star, means what? The digit can occur 0 times or any number of times. If you see, it will be the game changer. So did you see what happened here? Means for every character from the starting it is going in this word. Is there a string? Is there a number? No. Then it is getting empty string. Is there a number? Then it is getting empty string. Now, did you all understand when we need to go for /d? So sorry, star and /plus. In this sense, it makes no sense to have these empty strings, right, for us. So instead of that, if I go for like, plus, observe, see how calm and clean it will be. Wherever digits are there, only there you are getting. You are not getting unnecessary noise, right? Hope now you understood when to use plus instead of an asterisk. So like this, it is fine. So going further, a step ahead. If the same thing, if you want to find with a better way. So if you want to make furthermore fine control. So instead of /d, you can do like this. See, observe, square braces. Square braces should be used whenever you have a boundary or a range of values you want to find. If I say 0 to 9, it is same like /d, but if you write in this kind of syntax, you can go for like furthermore granularly. If this is like /d, so where is like plus? Observe the difference. So both will be like similar to what you're doing above. But writing like this can give you a furthermore control on what you want to get. Say like, if I say 1 to 5, if I say 1 to 5, only the characters 1 to 5 only will be matched. If you want to say 1 to 5 plus, only 1 to 5 plus, whatever is there, those only will be grouped together. Or like if you want explicitly only specific 3 characters, I can give like this. See here, 3, 5, 7. Only presence of these 3 characters, and you want to combine these occurrences. So like this, you got it. Or if you want to explicitly find for something like a /w. W means what? Alphanumeric. Alphanumeric. So if you see in the /w plus means what? You want individual characters here. You want what? So alphanumeric words together. Did you see that you got the words? So fine. And if you do like this, you can have a so generic things. But if you want a fine grain control, you can go like this. So in this way, I can say A to small z, capital A to capital Z, 0 through 9. I can get the match. In fact, both are same. But if you write in this kind of syntax, you will have more control. But ultimately, it depends upon your use case, right? Where you are going. If you want to match only the lower alphabets, I can give like this. Then I'll match only the lower alphabets. In the output, you can see that I'm getting only lower alphabets. Wherever there is at least one character which is a capital alphabet, it will not get. So similarly, if I want to get only the ovals, I need not worry about checking each of the character and others. I can check like this. Wherever capital ovals are there, so ovals are only coming. If you want like ovals grouped together, so you can specify that. Or like if you want anything, you can do. So ovals grouped together, there are only one individual characters. And if you want like this, A to Z, capital A to Z together. So similarly, if you want to check for the presence of white spaces, observe carefully, presence of white spaces and absence of white spaces. These are two different things. Small characters are every time presence. How many times presence of white spaces? White space doesn't mean that space. Even /n is also one thing. So all these things are white spaces. It will match all of that. So similarly, if you see capital S, Capital MS means absence of white spaces. It is absence of white spaces means any other character I put white space. So you get like everything. And similarly, if you want the words together like a group or something, you can give all those patterns. So hope now you understood about the re.findAll, how it is trying to find the different things, how it is trying to group all the things and find. So if you want further more control on what's happening, so with, as of now, as I told, with search and match, there is a difference. So I already told you about the difference between search and match. So as I told you, search will search only the first occurrence. So if I go for like find all, it will try to find multiple occurrences. If we say like my name is Maithili, so there are two mice, so that's why you get it both. So Python KB, you see, that is what the basic difference you understood. Now there is one more thing that I want to mention here. See, observe carefully. My is there, Maithili is there, right? So Maithili is not a simple my. It is part of a word. You don't want that. So if you want to upgrade this pattern, I'm trying to take it. So what I will do is like, I will add a /b and a /b. It's like a word boundary. Earlier you got 2 with re.findAll. Now if I do right now, I will get nothing. Observe carefully. I get nothing. So what I'm doing here, re.find, re.findAll. So /b, and I'm checking for these things, it's not working. So the reason is that whenever you have a slash attributes, we need to have an R. This is the mandatory thing. Else Python will think in a different way. The moment I have an R, now you will observe the importance of this pattern. See, what I'm trying to say is like, if you have like a Maithili, so is my, you got this one, right? So, or else let me go for like one more example. Say re.findAll of, say like /b class /b. So as I told, we need to have an R before it. And after that, so today class is on classifications of declassified docs. Classification of declassified docs. Now observe carefully. If I do the same things in a different way, you will observe the difference. If I don't have this concept of R's and all these things, if I remove this, okay, and I have the same things, and if I have these two, observe the difference. So class word is present 3 times. So that's why you're getting. But the moment I write a boundary, so declassification or classification, here class is in the middle. Here class is in the starting, but the ending is part of the another thing, right? It's a word. If you want to identify that kind of words separately, you can do like a /b. Now, the same thing I gonna do in a reverse way. If I do the same thing with a capital B, here also capital B. Now you observe the difference. Wherever the part it is not having that, it will get it. So the remaining. So similarly here also the same thing. So if I do like a /b and here also like a capital B, capital B means absence of that. So the here is like this one. So like that you're gonna get. So similarly, there is one more thing about this one. Yeah, we can have these patterns also in a better way. So here also, one more thing I want to add. I want, so /b at the end means, and the right side, it should not be like a end of the string. If I say Maithili here at the right side, it is not an end of the string. So that's why if you ask right now, you get it. So whereas here, why you didn't get, sir? Here, this side, it is an end of the string, right? So that's why you didn't get it. When you do like this, both sides, it should not be end. So if you see this side, it is an end of the string. So this is a word is there, right? At the end. So that's why this won't come. This also won't come. Only this classification will come. Hope you understood why only one came like this. And similarly, if you want to, so how these slashes will be, that's such a thing that if you want to find the slash, you need to give like a two slashes. Did you observe? If I find like a two slashes, it will try to find. So if I execute right, did you observe here? Sir, why here it found like a one slash? Why here it found two slashes? Because slash generally will be escaped by one more slash. So if you have two slashes, it tries to think two. But if you write R, it will think both as two separate slashes. So that's how it works. So the slash is like a most complicated thing. So in like, working. So that's why we should be very careful about the slashes. So hope you understood about this also. And the next thing that we're gonna see is about the last part of this array.finder. So we have seen few operators. We have worked on that. We have seen how these patterns works, presence, absence of these digits, how it work and others. If you want to search for these things with the numbers, as I told you, we have that array./d plus. So this is also very important. Whenever you want to find a number, it is easy. Generally, if you see in this example, we have an integer, we have a floating point value. So, but how it is reading? It is reading both of them as two separate numbers. So that is not an integer, right? You want to find like a floating point values. If you want to find the floating point values, can I do like this? Plus followed by a dot. But in fact, you know what is a dot means? Dot means anything after it, right? Like a character. It will treat like an ordinary dot. But if you want it to treat like a ordinary character, not like a regular expression operator. In fact, dot is a regular expression operator, right? But if you don't want it to treat like a regular expression operator, you can write a slash before it. Observe a slash before that within the regular expression pattern will treat it like a this one. Observe difference. Yeah, see here. You see here, when I do like this, it is making a lot of sense, right? Earlier you got a white space also. That is what not your intention. You want a dot. Now you got it. So similarly, if you want to escape any regular expression character within your patterns, either write a slash before it. If there are more than one characters, if you want to escape, you can write within braces. These are the two ways you can do. So this is the only two. But if you want both integer and a float to be managed, so if you want like now to the integer to be managed, so what I can do, I understood that after this dot, I give a dot star plus. Now I got an integer and float. Now the point is, so this is matching only the floating point numbers, right? Because you did like this. So dot should be present. Only floating point values have this one. But if you, without doing this dot, you got like only integers. But sir, what if I want both integers and float? Means the dot may or may not be present. Then did you see that after this pattern, I wrote a question mark? The moment I write a question mark, what I am saying? This dot may or not present. If it is present, it will be present one time. If not, 0 times it will be present. In this way, I can match both the integers and floating point values. Similarly, if you want to match the negative floating point values or negative integers, then I can go like this. I'm writing a minus before it, such that it can match even the negative values. So negative floating point values, positive floating point values. So positive integers or negative integers also it's gonna match. So everything it is matching, right? In terms of numbers. So this is what about these things. And if you go for the classic example, so there is email matching. So this is the most common example we generally go through when working. So if I have like an example, observe that we have an email ID. This is on email ID. So at the rate of 2 p.m. If you want to find the patterns, what I'm doing /s means absence of this. So at the rate of absence of this, like this I give. Now will it work? Clear and Python. So KD. Did you observe that both the things came? But simple logic I wrote. Okay, what is that simple logic? So /s, capital S, means there should not be white space. So there should be an at the rate, and there should not be this thing. Means around the operator, you should have something. But in this case, before the operator, there is a white space. So that's why it is not coming. This is like a very simple pattern for you to understand. But if you go in detail, things will not be that easy, right? You should go for much more complicated things. So in reality, there will be different kinds of email IDs. If you observe Python at the rate of so-and-so. So if you see here, bar dot and so-and-so, or this is also another pattern. So this is also another pattern. So like this, we have like different kinds of patterns are there. But if you do like this, will you get all those patterns? No. You are getting some kind of garbage also, right? We are not interested in that kind of things. So we should make a pattern which can identify very precisely. So identification is one point, and removing the unnecessary patterns which are coming like a false alarm. See here, this is in fact not a pattern till here. We should remove that. If I go for like different examples of I'm making it, you want like A to Z. So plus alphabets and at the rate A to Z plus so and so. So like that, if I ask, only few patterns are identified, but still few other patterns need to be identified. If I go with furthermore becoming smart, so instead of that, if I go with this one, say here, what I'm doing, so A to Z, so this dot I'm doing means along with A to Z, there can be dot also part of your thing, right? If I give that, so it is doing furthermore things. And if I want to be furthermore refined, we can also have an underscore within our characters, right? If I give like this, apart from dot, I'm saying even underscores also. Now, did you see that we are matching furthermore few things? Even Harini underscore new at the rate of in dot so and so. But if I go like one step ahead, and if I give this one, say A to Z, small a to Z, capital A to Z, so dot or an underscore. So same thing can be present after at the rate. So plus a dot will be there and it should be there. So we are matching like more patterns. So now like this, you can go and check. So you can find all the valid phone numbers in a given string format. You can take like a string which is containing all kinds of phone numbers, and you can find the pattern which can match all these things. In fact, I wrote for these emails, right? It may not be perfect for all emails. So there can be different kinds of emails which have different patterns. If you go in this particular thing, they have a library of anything. If you go for like regular expressions, they say like, patterns. Sure. So similarly, so these patterns, we already seen these flags, like, so if you see ignore case, so re.i, re.ignore case or re.i. So till now, what we know, these flags we are placing separately. These flags can also be part of this regular expression. So if you want like that, we can specify that like this. So you can see there will be multiple ways of solving the same problem. How it actually happened is, initially Python also did something from Python side, and they adapted from the Perl side. So wherever you see these braces like this and question mark, they were all adapted from the Perl side. So that's why there are multiple ways of solving the same problem. So this is one way of that particular thing. So if you do explicitly re.ignore case or re.flag, or here you do I, so both will solve the same purpose. So similarly, if I am going for the multiple things, say multiple values, if I want. So there is something called as like multiple values. So like this, you can go for like re.m. Sorry, M. M means what? Multi-line expressions. So multi-line means what? So till now, multiple lines, if you want to find for something, what we are doing instead of this M, so we are doing like re.m. If you don't remember, so there is something called as re.m. If you don't have like re.m, we cannot find the p, so or something. So if you are to go for like multiple lines, but if you re.m or like multi-line, so can also be given like this. There is something called as multi-line. Yeah. If you do like any of these things, it works in the same way. So that result would be the same. So similarly, if I go further, presence of like a slashes. So slashes means like, so we have a white space and others, special characters. If I say slash percentiles, okay. So if I say like this, yes, what S is telling? The dot all flag, re dot all flag, right? You remember? So when you have like multiple things, if you want to match in the things, you can go for this. If I say like you want to identify some complex pattern, if I give. So I give like a slashes. If I want to do the same thing in the other side, I can do like a re dot s s. So without this one, or I can also go with like re dot all. Only for this shortcut and this were not same, but remainings will be the same. You got the same answer. Or similarly, we have something called as the slash x. So sorry, question marks and x. What is this x doing means like it is trying to read any kind of things. So x means makes the expression verbose. Means it will not do anything strong, but it will make the existing thing pattern much look better. So means let me show you. If you see in this pattern, I have a pattern. Generally, it is one pattern. For the pattern, I'm giving an explanation also, like a comments for others to understand why I'm doing like this. Instead of writing in one line, I'm writing pattern like this. Now, if I generally write this pattern, okay, without this re.x, what will happen? If I execute this one, you got nothing. But if you do the same thing with re.x, then it will understand that, oh, okay, whatever you have given is for that, and I can use with that, right? So whatever you have given, so it will be doing like that, and it will do. So that is the beauty of like question mark x. So now, if I the same pattern, if I want to do with this one, so slash x, or I can write the same slash x here. So within the pattern. So within the pattern itself, I can write. So for that, what I can do? So I can take the same pattern again. I can place again. So I can write like this question mark x. I can write, and I can say like re dot match of pattern. So you can see that it is working right now in second case. So as you have written like this, you need not again write, or you need to write that explicitly. So these are the different things. And also you have seen this Unicode and this one. I don't want to touch that. So these were like a different patterns we have. So fine. Further, if I go into the next thing after these flags, so the same flags are there, but in a different way you have. Now the last thing is about the look assertions. This is also most important. Generally, if you are working with the other languages, this is very much included. So till now, what are the pattern you found you are trying to get? Based on the pattern, you are either splitting or like substituting or doing something based on what pattern you found it. But based upon the pattern that you found, if you want to do something else around it, so those are like look patterns. In the look patterns, so there are four kinds of things: look ahead, look behind. So means like a positive and a negative like that. So positive look ahead means what? After this question mark, you are doing an equal pattern. So it will match if the pattern inside the look ahead assertion is present ahead or not. So similarly, if I say negative look ahead, so it will do the other side. If you see in this case, so apple followed by pi like this, if I give, means it will match for the apple, and only if it is followed by the word pi. Means apple also should be there and followed by this pattern should be there called as pi. So apple pie should be there. If I give these examples, then you will notice the same. Say like, for example, if I am going for this example, say import re dot find of apple. I love apple pie, but not apple juice or apple cider. In this case, what will happen? Apple should be there and followed by this pattern you are saying. So if I say yes, clear, Python S. Did you see that there were 3 apples are there? If I typically ask for apple, but if this pattern, if I make with like a look ahead, so I'm making it positive look ahead. Positive look ahead means what? I am doing apple followed by, so like this pi, and I gave like a slashes. Did you observe? Means after apple, there should be a white space followed by pi. So apple space pi is there. Apple space juice is there. Apple space cider is there. Now in this case, see here, you got like apple pie, but you want only the apple which is present here. So only that case you are doing, right? Observe carefully. And similarly, if I go for like one more example, you will understand. If I say like /w means any word followed by a number should be there. So you say apple 1, 2, 3 is there, ball 3 is there, 4.5 is there, everything is there. So observe carefully. If I do without this look ahead assertion, if I do directly, let's say the same example above. If I don't do this look ahead assertion, what will happen? So it will try to get both the combinations together. Means word also should be there, followed by number also should be there. Word followed by number should be there, right? But here what I'm trying to do, hey, I want the word followed by number, but I want only the word only, alphanumeric numbers, right? Of course. So it is doing like this. So even /w will also find for numbers, right? That's why you are seeing this one. If I do like this, like say A to Z. So here also if I say A to Z, then you will notice the difference clearly. Did you observe here that you got all the alphabets and numerics together, right? Alphanumerics together in a single line. So alphabets and the numbers also. But what I want, alphabets only, for which there should be like a numbers at the end. Only those things I got. This apple I got, not the first apple. So this ball I got, not the first ball. So this cat 45 I got. From that cat I got. So you want a match. From that you want one specific things. Like that you can do. Similarly, you can go for a negative look ahead. Negative look ahead means like a pattern followed by exclamation so and so. It will match if the pattern inside the look ahead is not present ahead. Means the reverse of the previous. So means if you say like apple pie is there, apple juice is there, and apple cider is there. Now if you see, you will get what you will get. You will get all the options where apple pie is not there. Means reverse of previous. So in the same fashion, for this also the same logic works, right? As you already saw in the previous one, let me explain the same. You did instead of equal to with this exclamation, which is like a negative look ahead. You are getting all the things wherever there is no such thing, like a number followed by it. So those things you are getting. So similarly, if I go for like a look ahead with captured groups. So if you see here, positive look ahead, negative look ahead you got. So similarly, you have positive look behind, negative look behind also there. So but before going there, so let me show you that positive look ahead with groups. To understand that, let me show you this example. Look ahead with capturing groups. So you gave the things like this, /w followed by equivalent to exclamation. Means what? After this word, there should be an exclamation. Did you see that hello is there? Fine is there. These two are the words which have the things. If I execute right now, did you see that hello and fine came? Because only those have exclamation equal to exclamation, right? Similarly, if I want to get some kind of patterns, so observe this one, regular expressions. This is interesting. I have some email IDs. I am saying like there should be percentile slash W means some word followed by equivalent to dot means after that word there should be a dot and followed by slash W plus. So now if you observe carefully, you are getting all the things which have the email IDs, domains you are getting, right? Did you observe? It should start with a at the rate followed by this one and this one. Means in fact it is matching the entire things at the rate of yahoo.com, at the rate of so and so. But you don't want the dot com. It can be like a dot com or like dot UK or like dot in. So something you have, but you want like this. Instead of you explicitly telling that dot in or dot co you don't want, you are doing like this. So hope you understood what I am trying to say. So the extra pattern what you want, but you want to ignore that extra pattern that you can specify. Similarly, if I go for this thing, I have a timestamp, I have a timestamp, I have a timestamp. But I want the first one. See here, slash d plus means the first number, followed by equivalent to colon. Means till colon it will find, but it will not give the remaining values. Now if you see what will happen, you got like 12, 0, 9 and so and so. It added like this. Like one more example for you to understand. See here in this example, you see https dot so example.com/home. So what we are trying to say, the pattern. So within this, you are trying to find any of these things like a caret or like a slash or anything. So which is present, you are trying to find. So like this. Now, if any of these patterns are there, followed by slash b, means what? It is a boundary at the edge or at the end. So it should be at the boundary or at the end. It should be there and you want to get it. You got like that? Means you got a pattern for the first example. So this one only. You removed this before slash and after slash. What you told, slash should be at the boundary. So that's why it should start with the slash and followed by this boundary. So like that you got it. If you want to extract only the URLs, like that I did. And similarly, now going for the positive look behind. So positive look behind assertion. So what it is trying to do, positive both look ahead means what? After this, what should be present? So now look behind means what? It should come before it, as the name saying. So matches if it is equal or if it is not equal. So the same way you can do. So any doubt till now? Okay. So look behind means like it will check before it. If I saying like first it should have I love followed by slash W. So I love space slash W. It found like the entire match, but you get only Python because the previous one you don't get, but you want the next one. In the same fashion, if you go for the negative look behind. So if I go for C here, if I say it's like, not should be there followed by word. So not Java. So I love Python. So is not coming, but not Java is coming. So because, so not should be before followed by that word. So it will use Java. So like that. So, okay, sorry. So wherever not is there, so it will ignore the remaining things it will give. Yeah. Negative look behind, right? Negative means like it will do the opposite of that. So that's what. Similarly, I gave like one more example. Have a look at it in your free time. So you'll understand. So what it is does, it's the same pattern. So if you want, you are giving like a named patterns. So if you want, so look behind and look ahead, everything's you are giving. So this is all about the look assertions that you have. So after these look assertions, we have Unicodes, rejections, and also there is one more module for regular expressions. In fact, if you want to further work, there is one more module called as like regular expression, regex, rejects. There is another module called as rejects. If you want, you can install this module and use it. But it also does the same things, but in a better way. It has its own syntax. So like this and others. But I seldom used it in professional life. Just a learning only I did. But I mostly use like a built-in regular expressions. That is like the best. So for all things together. And to consolidate together of what are the learnings we have made till now. So, and we have, yeah. So there is something like I want to give like a summary. If I say like a summary doc of what all regular expressions we have and these things, you have the regular expressions like this. It has all kinds of characters. So these are all the different patterns we have seen. So asterisk, plus, dot, dollar, cap, all these things we have seen. Every brace has its importance. And I got Python specific namings I told. And also the look ahead, look behind kind of so assertions. And also this kind of flags. So there are two ways of using the flags, or both ways I told. Either you can use these flags directly or indirectly. And also these control sequences I told. And then I told about these parameters like, so match, so and so. And also we have like end groups for the results. Once you got a match, we can get all these things. So I gave some exercises also, give it a try. So I gave some examples and the solutions also. Just walk through that, you will understand the thing. And I gave like a good amount of assignments also for you to walk through. And also, apart from this, I want to give some kind of extra resources for you to learn further. If you want to learn further, we have something .txt. If I say here, so you have something like these websites. I showed you that re.rexpr. Similarly, there is one more website like this. If you go further, it will show you like the same kind of patterns. You can explain, you can do the things. You give some text data here, and you can check for a particular pattern. So like this here also, you can write your text and you can check for the patterns. But fine. But in reality, you cannot have like this kind of online searches. It is not a good idea. So then we can go for this ones. You can install this Kudos, Python Kudos. It's like a one tool, or Pythix. So these are like we can go and download and use locally, such that your data will not go to the internet, right? So you can go for these kind of things if you want locally. But there is one more thing called as REG-EXPR. This is very interesting. If you want to understand a pattern, how you have written, so it will be helpful. Let's say if I say, I have a pattern where I want to say like /w plus followed by /s followed by /z. And if I say slash, so /d, if I write something I am written, it is saying like you didn't place the braces correctly. Yeah, if I remove this one. So if you see here, /w, okay. So, okay, w plus, because it is like a JavaScript side, like some things it couldn't recognize. Oh, sorry, my bad. So I did this slash in a reverse way. That's my problem. So it is doing like this. If I do like a plus, it works. You see? So multiple digits. If I do the same braces earlier, what I did, I can place it. And after that, if I say like, so 0 through 6, so plus, so like this. So every digit, every character, it is showing like how to use it. Similarly, there is a debug expression. If you have a regular expression, but you are thinking that it is not working, so you can try by doing a debugging here. So this is a very good website. So like this same thing, if you say like JavaScript, Python, or PCRE, means for other languages they give. So you give a regular expression and you can tell that, I did something. So it will tell you what you are doing. If I say like /w plus, what kind of things it can match, it is giving. So if I say like after that /d plus, and if I say like some kind of look ahead or look behind. So if I say like some kind of look ahead equal to or something, everything it will show like a typical data, and you also can change. So this is all about the regular expressions. So hope you understood. So if you have any doubts, please ask. Thank you. So every programming language has something called as regular expressions. to make our queries, or like when you have a large text, to process the text and filter certain things or extract certain things. Regular expressions are something there. They were nothing to relate with Python as a language. They were there in every language. You can think like regular expression is a separate language. You can think like that. But generally, they were the expressions which can help us to understand. Say, the simple example is Google. How Google is understanding the different websites in this world and trying to filter what you want. It is doing the regular expressions in a larger scale. Say simple, if you do like a control F, if you are searching for something like, so regular or something, you are searching for some words. How the search is happening? It is going to each of the characters within this page and trying to search, right? So this is an F. So if let's say you want to check for a word called as regular. So it is checking for different regulars. There are different regulars which are getting matched. Fine. After regular, there should be like a 2. There is no such thing. Or after regular, there should be a 3. So nothing like that. Or like if you want to play more with regular expressions, there were some tools like RAG-EXP. This is a very good website for you to understand how regular expressions work. So generally, regular expressions are of 2 families. One is JavaScript, which is the browser-based, and 2 PCRE. PCRE means Perl compatible regular expressions. Perl is a language like Python, which started introducing these things. Like every other language adopted it. That's why regular expressions are of 2 ways, whether it is JavaScript or like PCRE. What is the difference is like, so the same concept everywhere is there. In JavaScript, you will have this /g extra. So whereas in an ordinary Python based regular expressions, you don't have that /g, which is like coming, right? So what is this here doing there? You have some content you need to identify. Say like, I want to identify something like a REG. So is there anything like an REG? Yes, of course, sir, there is an REG, but it's not matching. If I say same REG, did you see I got 2 matches? Or say like if I say VAL, validity. So VAL is there, but it's not matching. If I say exact VAL, it is matching. This is what you know till now. But if you want to make it much more advanced, so there were patterns. So if you want, say like, you want to get all the alphabets, I will write in braces. So if I say A to Z, wherever A to Z, small A to Z are there, you are getting. And if I say like same like capital A to capital Z, so only capital letters were matched. If I say like, 0 through 9, only the numbers are getting matched, right? There were no numbers, it's fine. And it is giving a detailed explanation for you what I'm doing there. If I say like, say small a to says P. So A to P, any character within the range of A to P will be matched. And it's a case sensitive. So, and there were some flags like case sensitive, case insensitive, like that. So why I'm telling all the stories, like this is kind of a tool where you can do text and place and do it. But if you want to do programmatically, let's start with the first thing. In Python, we have something called as RE module. If you want to work with regular expressions, we have something called as RE module. So import RE. It's a built-in module. So if you see like print of and DAR of this RE, you can notice that it has good number of attributes. So by default, things were case sensitive and it has a good number of attributes. If I say clear Python, yes, so and so. If you see here, it has a good number of attributes. In these attributes, if I go in detail, you can see that the first things are like a flags. These are like multi-line and all these things. These were flags. If you see here, you can see that these were all the flags we have. First line is of all flags. Next, you have like match, pattern, all these things. So these are all capital letters. All the things are having all flags. And this is like a basic metadata. If you can ignore these metadata things about the version and all these things, compile. So, and after that, you have few things. So after specs and versions, if I say, we have these things. If I ignore these also, the actual attributes comes. These actual attributes has these things here: compile, copy, enum. So find all, full match, func tools, and all these things. Sir, why func tools is there here? Because right, in Python, every module imports every other module. So as per their need, if you want to know how this particular module is written, if you see control and if you click on that, it will go through the exact code which is written for this module. Did you see that it is a re.py file, which is part of your Python 3.10? So here we have a lot of the attributes. It is saying these are all the attributes that I can consume. I can do that. And it is giving all these things. So there they have written the code. As part of this, they imported functools. That's the reason you are seeing functools. Some of the modules they use as part they need. So you need not work on all the attributes as you need. So majorly you can work on some things. I will walk through all these attributes one after the other, and slowly we will learn them. Okay. So now, going for a particular example. So I showed you in a big scale, but in a programmatical, if you want to say, let's say I have two strings. This is the target string where I want to search for the word called as Python. How do I find for this? Generally, we have two ways of finding things. Either we can go with a traditional approach without regular expressions. Means target string dot find of search string. So that is how we do, right? From the target you are trying to find, or the search string you are trying to search with a in operator. In either way, you are checking whether it is present or not. Anyhow, we don't need DAR. I'm ignoring that. And you can see that. So why you're getting -1? You're getting a -1 because this word Python is not present here. So word Python is present, but it is case insensitive, right? Sensitive, sorry. So we have a small letter P. Here this is a capital letter P. In the same fashion, when you did a in operator, you get a false answer, right? So in the same fashion, if I go for like regular expressions, how they work is the same thing. If I go re.compile, so whatever the search string that you want to do, that we need to compile, and you create a regular expression object. If you see, it says I'm a regular expression of Python string and says it's of type re.pattern. Now, with respect to this pattern, we need to check whether there is a match or not. So red object dot match of this target string. You can see that output. It is saying it is a none. So you may ask me, sir, we can do like a simple in operation or a find operation. Why do you want to go to regular expressions? That too, you cannot do in one line. You need to do re.compile first. For that object, you need to do a dot match. But still you didn't get. So that could be your question, right? Typically, fine. As of now, the output is none. So we cannot do anything else. So what if I replace this one with a real information? Say like, if I replace it with a ordinary value, say if I say that capital Python. In this case, see the same example, things will change. Now you got what? 0, because it is present at the 0th position. And with the in operation, you got true. And with the pattern also, you got something in the result. Earlier result was none. Now you got a value. So when you get a value, we can also do certain things. So this reg object dot match, if you do, it will give either a none, which if there is no match. If there is a match, it will give a regular expression object. If there is a regular expression object, we can get all these things: dot group, dot span, dot starts, dot end, like that. So basically, start means at what position in that particular target string. So you found the match. Till what position you found the match. So span is like a combination of start and end. And the result is, what is that exactly you matched? You may ask me, sir, if you are asking for Python, you got Python as an output. What is that you are matching? So at the outset, it is similar to what you are doing in a find operation. But over a period of time, you will understand the complexity of searches. It's not like a pure word you give and it search for the word. We can give some patterns. To understand that, first I'm trying to explain you how the operation works. So this is how this basic operation works. If there is a match, it will get the values. If there is no match, you don't get the values. So now going ahead, as I told, so things are like case sensitive. So by default, you don't get any values. But if you give the things, it will be having a values. Just to make you convenient. So if I give the same pattern, but like with Python, so again with a Python, like an ordinary thing, you can see the things. If I say Python, so B, so and so, you see, if I change it back to the original thing, so ordinary Python, you won't get any match. Now, a smart way of handling this. You understood that we cannot do the same things, execution. Now I go with like one more thing called as ignore case. So you understood that if I give like a small Python, we cannot get. If I give like a capital Python, we can get it because that is what you are looking for. But sir, what if I want to match if there is no, irrespective of the case, means I should not consider about the case. In that case, we need to go for something called as re.I or ignore case. Ignore case is similar to what you do with a I. So re.I is same as re.ignore case. If you do this thing, now you will notice the difference. Let's say clear and Python C so and so. Did you see you got the match? Now, not just this one. Let me do the same thing for multiple values. Say like I have multiple types of string. Same such string, instead of one, I will have like multiple combinations. I will say like, this Python, this Python, this Python, all kinds of Pythons. And I will do the entire operation, say like this one. You see now, I will do like this. Each time I gonna get what is the search string, and within those search strings only it will check. Hope you understood what I'm trying to do. Instead of a single search string, I'm looping over a iterable of objects, and for each of the search string, I'm trying to find. Observe carefully now. For each of the search string, it is finding, right? Did you see in the first case, it need to do? So it took like Python. Yeah, it took like Python as a string. Yet it found it, and you did like a find and this one. See, ordinary find and this one will not work if you are going for this kind of patterns. Did you see ordinary find and in operation didn't get the output, but re.compile gave you the output. Similarly, if you go for this capital P PyTHON, it is an exact match. You got with find and in also. Regular expression also give it. Where if you do all capitals, then also find and in doesn't work, but this works. Now you are slowly realizing the complexity of regular expressions, right? How they can smartly work and what kind of use cases we can do. But there is one problem. Which we need to face. So the same string I will take, and I will go for one more example. In this case, I want to tell you something interesting. See, basically, if I take a Python a string, Python is a programming language, all these things is good. But there is one more thing you need to learn is about re.search and re.match. This is the most common example that you need to understand. So as of now, every time what you're doing, regular expression object dot match. That's what we are doing. So regular expression dot match can do like this. At the same time, we can also go for regular expression dot search. What is the difference means? re.match matches only at the starting of the string. If you observe here, the word Python, irrespective of what case you give, in the target string, it is present only in the starting, right? So that's the reason it works. But if you are trying to go for like, so other kinds of situations, then it doesn't work. So means like instead of a match, if I go with like this one, see here, our regular expression dot match will match only at the starting of the string, whereas regular expression dot search can match anywhere in the string. Anywhere in the string. If I say clear and Python, so D so and so. See, it is working exactly like match. And in the result, you are seeing match only. Means whether you commented match also, and still you are doing regular expression dot search, but still in the output, you can see re dot match. So that is how it works basically. But you need to understand the differences. With search, we can do at the starting of the string, but at the same time, we can also do in the middle of the string. To understand more about that, let me do again the same example with a slight difference. So if I go for the re dot search, say like I take a regular expression, I have the target string, I have the search string. So what you're doing, if you are doing with a find, what we need to do? We need to make everything to the same case, and then we need to do. That's what we know if you are going for traditional find or in operations. But with re dot compile objects, so we can find anywhere in the string, right? So that's what we understood. So I would not focus on these things. So I can focus on the other side. So we understood that we can go for any of this search string and we can find. So similarly, with this one, I would go with the different kinds of target strings. So with different kinds of target strings means what? For target string in, so we need to find for different target strings. So I will go like this. You can tell me the different patterns. You see here. So in this case, where is the Python present? In the ending, right? So the word Python. So I can say like Python programming is good. Programming in Python is good. Python. So in the starting, in the middle, and in the end. So I have taken like 3 places, right? So like this, I created for different search strings. I want to check whether it is working or not. Now, if I go for like a regular expression object, reg object is equal to, so re dot compile of whatever the pattern we have, search string. So I think like a search string we need not have here. So we can have like re dot I, ignore case we want. We can place it outside itself because we search t is coming afterwards, right? Now with respect to this, I can do re dot match of this target string. So similarly, re dot search. If you see re dot match output for these things, and similarly re dot search, re dot search outputs, re dot match outputs. If you see in all these things, clear and Python, so e so and so. Did I miss any of the braces? Oh, re dot object I did. So I should do a regular expression object, right? Regular expression object dot search, regular expression object dot match. Now, did you see in all these cases what happened? For each of these things, what is coming, what is not coming, you can see. I say print. So maybe like I'll make a print saying like /n, I can say target string. For a given target string. So what all the outputs you're gonna get? You see, for the target string, Python programming is good. You got a match in both because it is in the starting. For a target string, programming in Python is good. Python is in middle. So with match you couldn't get. With search only you get. If it is at the ending, so with match you couldn't get. With search only you could get it. So with this, I just want to show you like how things works. And on top, like if you want to go in specific, like together, so you want like all details for any of these things, you can go and ask. If you want like specific details, so you can ask what is the result and others. But as it is, that makes no much difference. Next, if I go for like two regular expressions. So basically, till now, I showed you the concept where first you take a target string, So with respect to the target string, so we need to work. So you have a way where you see here. So first you create the regular expression object. What are the search string? If you have any flags, you should specify that. Then we can use that object to do the dot search, right? This is what traditionally happening till now. Generally, this kind of way we can use when you have the same pattern, but different kinds of usages. Means you compiled, you want to do re.match, you want to do re.search or something else afterwards. If you want to do, you can go. But if you are creating a pattern for a particular purpose, then there is a short key. So instead of doing this much logic, we can do the things in a short way. So what we can do is like, so we have this concept, re.compile of the search string, then you're doing a search. In that case, so what you need to do, same result is equal to re dot, what are the search attribute is there, we can use that. And for that, what is the pattern that you're passing to the search string? You can specify that. And what is the target where you want to check? So target string where you want to check. And after that, if you have any flags, those flags we need to give. So trust me, if you learn this, your entire logic will be very simple. Now, what is the search string? What is the target string? What is the flag that you have? So this makes your life very easy. In fact, I can make this example much more clear for you. But instead of writing these variables, I can make it much more easy. I can give the search string, which is also called as the pattern. And what is the target string we have? And what is the kind of a regular expressions? So patterns or anything that you have. Hope it's clear now. Hope it's clear now. You understood. What is a pattern? What is a target string? And what is the kind of things you have? And with this, if you want to check, you can see what is the answer. So if you see the difference, both will give the exact same answer. There is no difference at all. But most people will prefer this if you are doing this for like a single purpose. From now onwards, we'll go for this kind of pattern, which is easy to do in a one line for us to understand a lot of concepts. Now, so coming to the previous case where I showed you the searches at the starting and so and so. Now, going to the regular expression dot search only. From now, we will focus more on search. Search has like a super user. It has a lot of capabilities, but if you want to narrow down the search, typically match can do only at the starting. But if you want to do search in a particular way, so we can go with this. Means how to make re.search to work like re.match. Or like if you want to search something only at the starting or only at the ending. If you want to dictate, these kind of patterns need to be used. So as the thing, if you say cap, it will search only at the starting. Till now, what we know about is regular expressions is, I give a pattern, I check for the programming language. So sorry, I have the target string and the flag, I get what is the answer. Python, so G so and so. If you see now, you got it. You got a match, you got Python. Fine. Now, if you want to enforce to find it only at the starting, so you can give like this or like ending. You see, here I wrote Python. So it is a RE flag, so it will not care about the case. But at the end, you wrote dollar. Means what? The pattern Python should be present only at the end of the string. Luckily here, it is at the end of the string. So that's why you get it. In the second case also, you get the answer. Now, if I tell that, hey, Python at the dollar, and if I say Python programming in Python is good, something. Now, if you see here, Python is not at the ending. Now, what will happen? You will not get a match. Though search can find anywhere in the string, starting, middle, or end, but here we are enforcing it to find only at the end. Hope you are understanding what I'm trying to do. Also, if I am trying to enforce the search to do only at the starting, similarly, I can go for the similar enforcement. Before the pattern, I'm making a so caret operator. If I say caret operator, it will try to find only at the starting. Unfortunately, here Python is not at the starting. You don't get it. In the same fashion, if you don't give this caret operator, and if you give like a re dot match also, it will do the same thing, right? We already know. So in fact, like re dot search of this pattern or re dot, in fact, both are doing the same job. Re dot search of pattern, and before pattern you have a caret, or re dot match of Python. Both will try to find in the starting only. But unfortunately, we don't have value. Now I'm doing the same two things. In this case now with the Python in the starting. In these both cases, now Python is in the starting. Now you get the answers. So like this, we can enforce these rules and we can get these values. And the remaining concepts are same. Once you got a match, you got a group, span, start, and etc. This is how we can enforce the search or a match to do in a particular way. Next, the same enforcements we can do with like two other parameters. So two other patterns, sorry. So till now we know that there were two patterns called as caret and a dollar. If I go one step ahead, there were two more things like this called as the /a and /z. Generally, I too got confused thinking that, it is thinking about maybe A to Z it is saying, but it is not the case. /a, so matches the expression from the right at the absolute start of the string, whether it is in single or multi-line mode. So /z also similarly. These are like a counterparts for what we are doing. If you see, till now, if I can summarize what we have learned in the previous one, you did simply with caret and a dollar like this, where you enforced, see ABC, dollar I am doing. Within these things, ABC should be at the end. Unfortunately, D is at the end. So ABC pattern is not there. So you get a none. Similarly, if I say ABC dollar, at the end we have ABC. So then you will get a result, right? So only when you get a result, you should do dot group. If you, without a group, if you're doing, it will throw an error, right? So that's what you should be aware of. Similarly, if I go one step ahead and ask re dot search of, so caret ABC, and if I say ABC, did you understand what I'm trying to do? I'm checking for the word ABC at the starting only. But unfortunately, it is small ABC. We have capital ABC. But did I use like this re dot I flag? So it will not consider about the case. So you're gonna get your answer. Clear and Python H so and so. Did you get your answer? So now how it is deciphering the things? I'm telling the same examples. Now the same example we can do with these things also. So in this pattern you observe, I'm saying ABC $Z, sorry, /z means like this ABC should be at the end. Yes, we have ABC at the end. You will get ABC because that's the match that you got. Similarly, I'm saying /a, capital A, ABC means like this ABC should be at the starting. So case sensitivity will be dealt with. Like that, everything will be dealt by different things. There were different flags also. I will tell you afterwards. In fact, the answers will be the same. So if you want to enforce the search in a particular direction, you can do like this with these patterns. Now we understood about these kind of patterns, right? If I go like one step ahead with these patterns. So there is one more thing. If you want to limit the patterns, limit pattern characters. Sir, you are trying to find in the starting, we understood. Find in the ending, that we understood. But this is like a dot. This is very interesting and very powerful. You should be very careful about. It can match any character except new line. Means /n character, except /n character, it can match anything. So what is this, sir? Let's see. Let me show you one example. So as you already know about these two, let me show about the dots. If you see here, I am doing around 5 dots. I am asking about Python programming is good with a re dot flag. Now what will happen? I am not telling whether it is starting or middle or ending. But by default, if you don't tell, it will do from the starting, right? it will scan from the starting. You are asking for 5 characters. It doesn't mean whether it is a alphanumeric, any character it can give. So PH, PY, THO. So like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 characters you got it. And it's like, so it makes no difference, right? RE.I here in this case. So sometimes there will be flags which will be of no importance. But if you want to enforce these 5 characters at the starting of the string only, so you can do like with the caret. So by default also it will scan from top to right, left, top to down, and left to right approach, right? But if you want to enforce these 5 characters at the end of the string, so you can tell that, hey, give me. Now, did you see that you got good? Because those were the 5 characters which were in the last. But, sir, what if I give something like this? Means I'm telling that 5 characters should be there. It should be at the starting till ending. Means, so the entire word should be 5 characters only. That's what, right? If this should match this one exactly, then both should be same. So between the starting and ending, there should be 5 characters only. As it is not there, it will not do. So if I go for then 4 characters, does it work? If you ask 4 characters also, it doesn't work. Because that entire string should start with this, end with this. Within that, there should be 4. As that is not possible, you don't get it. If I go one step ahead and give like this, see here, instead of Python programming is good, I gave the word Uday. So this is exactly 5 characters. So that's why it will have a match. Did you see? Whenever you want a word with a particular number of characters, you can do this kind of things. And the same things I can implement with these also, right? /A/Z. Both are doing the same job. I can do that. So, and also, so if you see here, I am doing like this. See, I wrote Udaya. So 1 character extra I gave. So will it do a match? No. So exactly 5 means 5 characters should be there. If you do beyond that, it doesn't work. Neither in this format or like these patterns. So it doesn't work. See, if you want to limit something to a particular number of characters, especially when you're doing anything in the, say, you open a web application or any form or in a mobile app, you are entering your mobile number. It expects your 10 digit, right? So when you're giving any 10 digit or 11 digit, it doesn't work, right? So how it is doing? So because of these regular expression patterns, where we can write further more complex things, I will tell you shortly. To know more for this kind of extra patterns, till now you know the basic patterns. Now we will see about the hybrid patterns or like a composition patterns. So it means these are something called as greedy and non-greedy patterns. What do you mean by greedy? So is there any limit for like someone's if someone is asking for money, so if you give how much money, they will be satisfied? There is nothing like that. But if you give how much food, people will be satisfied for eating themselves. So there is a need. So they needed a greed, right? That's a point. So there are 3 patterns. It's very interesting. Till now, the basic patterns you learn, that is okay. This star, plus, and question mark. What are they? How they can help us? To understand more about that, let's go for like this one. Say, till now you understood about the story that RE.match and RE.search. Match can do only at the starting, search can do anywhere. So I will start with that and subsequently I go with search only from now onwards. If you see, I gave like AB and I'm searching for AB. I gave for AB to search and I'm asking for the AB only. If you are giving and asking for the same word, there is no difference, right? It works perfectly fine. So from now I'll go with so search only, but with a different patterns. What I'll do, if you observe carefully, you will understand. If you see here, so what I'm doing, did you observe? I am doing AB star, AB star, or like asterisk, AB asterisk, AB asterisk. This is the same pattern which I am using for all these 4. But in the inputs, I gave like a single A. So A followed by B. So A followed by 2 Bs, A followed by these many Bs. So what this asterisk is saying that So before asterisk, whatever is the character. What is as before character before asterisk?